There is a piece of land on this planet the size of the United States and Mexico combined. It has mountains, rivers, lakes, resources worth trillions of dollars, and not a single human being owns it. No president, no king, no government. Why? Every single piece of land on this planet has an owner. Every mountain, every desert, every island in the middle of the ocean. Somebody owns it, but Antarctica, the fifth largest continent on Earth, belongs to no one. And here is the strange part. 54 countries agreed to this, willingly at the exact moment in history when every powerful nation on Earth was racing to grab as much land as possible. To understand why nobody owns Antarctica, you have to go back to 1948. That year, Argentine military forces fired on British troops, not in Europe, not in the Middle East, in Antarctica, over a piece of frozen land that both countries claimed was theirs. 7 nations had competing claims to Antarctica: Argentina, Australia, Chile, France, New Zealand, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Some of those claims overlapped, which meant countries were ready to fight each other over ice. Then something changed everything. The Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were pointing nuclear weapons at each other. And both superpowers looked at Antarctica and saw the same thing. A perfect place to test those weapons. A perfect place to build military bases. A perfect place to watch the enemy. The fear wasn't about ice. The fear was that if one superpower controlled Antarctica, the other one was finished. So on December 1st, 1959, 12 nations sat down and made an unusual decision. Nobody gets it. The Antarctic Treaty was born. But here is what most people never think about. Why were so many countries fighting over frozen ice in the first place? Because under that ice, something extraordinary is hiding. Antarctica has over 400 lakes buried beneath the ice, some of them the size of entire states. In 2025, scientists found a hidden mountain range under Pine Island Glacier, 100 kilometers wide. That same year, a massive iceberg the size of Chicago broke away from the ice shelf. Underneath it, scientists discovered a complete underwater ecosystem that had never seen sunlight, living creatures, in total darkness, for millions of years. Nobody knew they existed. Now here's the part most people get wrong. You've probably heard that nobody is allowed in Antarctica. That's not true. Last year, over 124,000 tourists visited Antarctica on cruise ships, with guides, legally. But here's what you cannot do. You cannot just show up. You cannot go wherever you want. You cannot take anything home. You cannot even kneel on the ground near a penguin colony. Why? Because Antarctica's ecosystem is so isolated, so fragile, that a single seed stuck to the bottom of your boot could introduce an invasive species that destroys the entire continent. This is not a conspiracy. This is biology. But here's the part nobody is talking about. The Antarctic Treaty, the agreement that has kept this continent peaceful for 65 years, is entering what experts call its worst period ever. Since Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, cooperation between treaty nations has collapsed. China has made it clear it wants more control over Antarctica, and in 2048, just 22 years from now, the door opens for countries to renegotiate everything. The resources under that ice, the minerals, the oil, the fresh water, are worth more than most countries on Earth. And the question nobody wants to answer is this: when that moment comes, who is going to stop the most powerful nations from simply taking it? Antarctica is not owned by anyone because fear was stronger than greed. In 1959, 2 superpowers decided that nobody winning was better than one side losing. That decision protected a continent for 65 years. But the world has changed, and the last unclaimed prize on Earth is sitting there, waiting. The real question isn't why nobody owns Antarctica. The real question is, how much longer will that stay true? If this made you see something differently, that's exactly what Whyy is here for. Subscribe. Because the most important questions are always the ones nobody is asking yet.